Munch, how are you? Dude, I've been slinging dick like just going out of style. Hey, I'm gonna send you two recent interviews that I've had, and you should know that I'm going viral soon. Um, I really mean this. If you would, please watch them. Uh, they've got hundreds of views on YouTube. They're less than a week old, and they're just gonna continue to get better. If I may ask, is that your Scroto? Yeah, dude, that's baller as fuck. Okay, let me say this. I even do a shout out to the Sprotos. I show Sprotos on the stream, and I also do something else cool. I shout out the coin to um, Aiden Ross. Do you know who Aiden Ross is? Yeah, exactly. Does he? Okay, well, hey, to each their own. So Aiden Ross, um, Eddie Craven, and who owns Kick, and then Elon Musk. And in the second video that I sent you, the one with the actually second video that I sent you now has an interview where I um show off the Scrotos and tell people about them. I do that in the first video too. But like if you're a fan of Harry Potter Bomb Sonic 10 either, jazzed about this, we're going to the moon. And if you're a fan of Rabbi Rothschild, which I know you are, Ask Bunch, you know that like this is a really good interview for me. In fact, after the second interview, the owner of Kick, Eddie, accepted my friend request on Discord, so that's cool. I agree. You're amazing. I appreciate that. So if you would, check it out. Um, it's you can tell that like I'm gaining some momentum here. We have I'm in like 12 different Discords live right now, which is a big deal because it just like gives people a portal into my world. And um, I'm in like I Show Speed, if you know who that is, he's a YouTuber. In Aiden Ross's. I'm in like all these other ones like Chill Zone and like the biggest ones on Discord basically. I feel it's a good idea to just make myself basically the central hub and have a bunch of spokes that branch off from me. And then whenever anybody's curious, like, and they get curious on a daily basis, why are you live streaming your life in so many different Discords? And then they come into my main Discord and I'm able to talk to them. They're like, oh, that's cool. And then they come in regularly. They do. And, um, it's about consistency and some other things. But if you ask, like, you'll see in the Ori interview, the second interview, he says, like, you're a celebrity on Kick. And even though you don't stream on Kick, everybody knows about you. Eddie knows about you. He names a bunch of people I don't even know who know about me. And, you should see my kickbots. You've seen my kickbots before, right? So like I've been doing this now for pretty pretty good while, so people do know about me, and you'll see the reaction. I mean, it's pretty cool. And then I talk about some things that are really important to me. I mean, I'm really hear about world peace. I'm sick of people fucking going to war, and I want to stop that, and I want to stop world hunger through agricultural drones and vertical farming and saltwater greenhouses and floating greenhouses and perhaps cloud seeding and hydroponics. Like when people start to hear these words, I feel on a large scale, they'll recognize that we can end these problems if we start to have discussions about them. If we stop fighting about the little things and start agreeing on the big things, I feel the world will be a better place. And I know, like, oh wow, we're all gonna just, sing kumbaya to each other. I know I get that all the time, but if someone doesn't start the process, no one will. That's actually going to be a big thing. Yeah, there's going to be in some communities a large birth rate increase. Yeah, no, it'd be like a second sexual revolution. Poor dog, all day, every day. So, oh, perhaps, yeah, that definitely could be a thing. So, I would appreciate if you would take a look at my interview when you have time. You have to do it right now, but then also tell me what you think about it. That's the important thing because if there's anything I said that you if I can say this, if there's anything that I say that you don't agree with, please tell me. I want to hear your thoughts because I feel that this is a universal message. I mean, like, what's something that's kind of controversial that I talk about? Um, I think that we shouldn't discriminate against people based on the color of their skin, nor the content of their skin, nor the content of their skin. Okay, well then, why? But why? Oh, okay. So, but what I'm basically saying is this: a woman shouldn't lose her Instagram account or YouTube account because she has a nip slip when I can go like this and it's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like it's a very strange, very very uh ancient, I feel, or at least traditional way of thinking, but literally we are discriminating against people. And then when the medical community will literally let you be whatever you want, you mean to tell me like one day a guy who like all the things. Like basically, I could just show you a picture of a nipple up close, and you can't tell the difference if it's a man or a woman. So I know you agree with basically the fact that we should treat people equally, and and it's really true. In fact, there's a person I did a collaboration with a female streamer. Her name's Malibu Bailey, and she and I played chess together. She's a very intelligent woman. And the next day, she accidentally had a nip slip on her channel. When you're streaming for like 12 hours a day, it's very easy. I'll tell you what, I have ass crack slips and all the time. And I wear two pairs of pants just to avoid it, but I still have ass crack slips. Not like all the way down my butt, but just the very top part. And if somebody considers that offensive, then there's not much you can do about it. So, what else do I talk? I mean, that's like really the most controversial piece. I don't want anybody else to die ever. I look forward to a day where nobody dies. For life extension technology and mind uploading technology, and like we talk about a lot of things on the stream that aren't normally talked about. But I close with a word that I teach everybody because nobody knows this fucking word. Xenoarchaeology. I know you're like, what the fuck is that? It's the study of archaeology on other planets, like abandoned civilizations of like alien civilizations. Like people don't normally think like that, but if aliens exist, then a type of archaeology exists. And if you look at as many options that there are in the universe, like through the Drake equation, the the likelihood of life being in this in this universe aside from on Earth is very very high. Because of that, you have to think that there's some of those civilizations have abandoned a planet or something, and we could study their archaeology. I think that's just, I mean, not today, but in the future. And people aren't thinking like that. And I'm telling you, Asman, look, you and I are pretty like average individuals, but I think we're gonna have the opportunity to be. We're not though. That's the thing. I think about you a lot, and I'm like, one of the smartest people I've met on this stream is Asmunch. He was valedictorian of his high school, could have gone to the Ivy League, and um, basically he has the opportunity. I think once this stream goes big, to really enlighten a lot of people on your own. You're a funny person. You're really smart, and like basically, we're gonna have the opportunity to share our gifts with the world, and I think that that's really important. And the way that we'll be able to do it, perhaps, is through social media, through live streaming. We talked about this a little bit. You were talking about doing welding on live on TikTok. What happened to that? Just put it on one of the guys who is welding. Well, seriously, I mean, um, you got to think like that could be potentially. I mean, you try it. I don't know how. I watch people do shit like that all the time when I'm on TikTok because it's fascinating. You get it really, you get the camera really close and it's like an angle you've never seen, and it's just like hypnotic. Just watching someone work. I watch that with pool. I watch that with all kinds of things. So, I think that it has the potential to be something for you. And excellent. Excellent. Well, if you would, check out the video that I sent, especially the second one. The reason why the second one's really important, as much I'm sick of technology not working. I'm sick of apps crashing. I'm sick of batteries dying. I'm sick of connectivity sucks. I'm sick of updates that don't do anything. I want stuff to work really well. And if we want to propel into the 21st century, into the 22nd century, we need this stuff to really start working better. And oh, it's such garbage. It's such garbage. And these people, it's incredible to me. They want to charge you premium prices and deliver absolute shit quality. And so, like what? Like internet service providers, they say like we have 99% stability. That's actually not that good. That's like 1 in 100 days you're gonna be out of internet for a whole day. Like that sucks. That's not what people. That's ass. I need 99.99999. I need Six Sigma on this motherfucking thing. No, I'm serious. If the internet goes out one time during an earthquake, I understand that. But any other time, dog, no, this shit should be working all the time. So when they're like, we have 99% stability, it's like that's still not good enough. Even 99.9% stability is still not that good to me. If it's one day in 3 years, I guess that's okay. One day in 3 years. But if I don't have internet for a whole fucking day, I will remember that fucking day for the rest of my life and how much I hated that day. So no, it needs to be 99.9999. Like once in 10,000 or 20,000 days, maybe one day in your life, you should be without internet. But even still, they should have backups to this shit. So you got your wired internet, and if that doesn't work, they got a fucking satellite or some kind of router somewhere. This all can be done. I don't understand why it's not. And nobody's internet bill's going down. Nobody's cell phone plans are going down, but yet they're delivering worse and worse service. And when it comes to internet, in the first video that I do, I call out Mark Zuckerberg, I call out Elon Musk, I call out Jeff Bezos, I call out the guy from Google and Alphabet and YouTube, Satya Pratik, and I call out the guy at Microsoft, Satya Nadella, and I call out someone else. There's like a big one who I call out. Um, I can't recall. Anyway, and I tell them what I want that their stuff should be working better. And, oh, Tim Cook. Tim Cook's the biggest one. My iPhone sucks. My iPhone hasn't changed in 10 years. It's the same fucking shit. The only thing that they do is literally change the color and maybe the screen size. That's it. There's nothing else. It's like not anything new. And what people don't know is Apple is sitting on an entire mountain of technology and they're not utilizing it. They're using this idea of planned obsolescence and these slow rollouts of things. And I'm gonna light a fire under that fucking company's ass because people are gonna see I'm using iPhones all the time and how shitty these things are. And he's gonna have to resign or he'll be fired by the board of directors. And in my opinion, and I say this in the video, Steve Wozniak should take over. Doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that fucking make sense? Like, that's, you know, when you see a puzzle and all the shit comes together? Well, that's the key puzzle piece there. It should have never been Tim Cook. No one knew who his ass was. After Steve Jobs, it should have been Steve Wozniak. But now we see what Tim Cook's reign has been, and it's absolutely no development. Go to Wozniak. He could, if anything, he's a figurehead of the business of the organization. He would be great for publicity. So that's one thing. What's that? Yeah. Right. We're on 5G. Doesn't do anything. Absolutely nothing. When people talk about 5G, I talk about 6G. When people talk about 6G, I talk about 7G. And that's the way to do it because everything that they fucking promise you with whatever it is that they say they're going to roll out, hold your breath. Don't hold your breath on that one because essentially it's going to be not what you expected. I can tell you, especially when we get into dog, you know, when we get into automated cars, like seriously, it's one thing if a phone app crashes, but if the fucking car crashes and I'm in it or my loved one's in it, and I'm like, why didn't this fucking work? And it says system process not responding, or Android system needs to be rebooted, or it needs a system update. People's lives are going to be in danger, and we cannot tolerate that. So, what I advocate is there's a certain standard that we need for electronic devices, and it's currently not the standard. I don't know too much about it, but basically, there's a medical standard. There's a reason why pacemakers and like Neuralink and shit, that stuff doesn't break on people, but like your phone does all the time. Because that shit is like has to be like and like military shit has to be at like a level 7 or level 6, and then the consumer shit has to be at a level 1. And I advocate that the consumer shit should at least be a level 2 or level 3. I want this shit working all the time because it's literally a joke, dude. That's much. I hate to chew your ear off about this, but this is just how I feel about this shit. I will buy a brand new laptop on Amazon, brand new, and it'll say it's a gaming laptop. It'll say it's got a 17-inch screen, all this great shit, and you get it, and it is so fucking slow, it is unusable. And then when you look up why is this even produced, it's called e-waste. It's basically let's tell the customer all the stuff that the computer can is capable of. However, we're not going to put a processor in it that's capable to do all those things simultaneously. And if you do, it will literally just become a giant paperweight. And that's exactly what these computers do. I can't believe how slow computers are. Like literally, computers. Like right. You know what's absolutely getting way worse is Android phone. If you used an Android phone recently, it's like such garbage. And here's the other thing that absolutely pisses me off. There are better phones out there, and I've almost bought them in the past. Huawei. I remember Huawei comparing a Huawei phone to both Apple and Samsung. This was 7 or 8 years ago, and every single thing on the Huawei phone was twice as good. And it was half the price. And so it's like, what? This shit is twice as good at half the price. No wonder they don't want these things sold in the United States. Of course, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's because like China can spy on you." Dog, you really don't think this whole fucking thing is made in like Shenzhen or Guangzhou or one of those places that has nets around it so people don't jump off the fucking building? You're telling me they can't sneak a little bug in here and hear every fucking thing that I'm saying? Of course they can. They go ahead. Same. Wait, wait. That's a different story. That's a different story. Wait, wait. You're right. Wait, dude. You hear how much I'm bitching about Apple, but I'm talking to you on an Apple there and an Apple here. Why? Because The other shit is so bad. But even okay, so like yes, it does work. Apple is seamless and all that other shit. But it's a walled garden. You can't do anything with it. Exactly. And I don't necessarily blame the people at Android or Samsung so much because here's the thing, like at Apple, like I've launched apps on the App Store and Google Play, and I know how like even their verification process works. Apple's is everything has to be done within the Apple um, system. It has to be done exactly within that walled garden, and their approval process is done by like robots, but it's also done by humans, so it takes a little longer. uh, Samsung or Google literally is just done by AI, and you can basically do anything you fucking want in the phone, and like it's incredible to me that what can happen is you can have like Samsung, which I think is a really good company from some of the shit that they put out. They have a really great phone, but they have to put Android software on it, which is dog shit, and so then it makes their phone look shitty. Because I really do have like Samsung, like there was this is like 10 years ago. I'll never forget this though. Um, there was a company, man, it's escaping me now. They put out a phone. It was a Nexus, whatever Nexus was. Okay, so I remember the iPhone had a megapixel of like 8 megapixels, and this thing had a 45 megapixel camera. And it's like, don't you think if you worked at Apple, you'd be like, shit, man, you know, the next camera that we put out on the next phone should be like 46 or more, so we can say that we have like cutting edge technology? Oh, fuck no. You know what their next version was? The same 8 fucking megapixel camera that they had before. Only did they upgrade it with the 14 or something like that. And here's the hilarious thing that happened with the Apple iPhone 14. When they launched it, they said, oh, it's got the greatest fucking camera on it. You can shoot a movie with this fucking thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, everybody wants to watch my movie that I shoot on an iPhone. But with that being said, the hilarious thing is, immediately when this thing went out, the shutter on the camera failed and they had to push an update. So literally, like, if you know any of these people who buy Apple products on the first day, a lot of times they're not very happy with them because they have to push up an update. Now, the people won't fucking admit it publicly. Occasionally, they will, and that's how I know this. But they'll be like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing ever. It's just this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, but it's the best fucking phone you could ever want." When in reality, they're just fanboys or fangirls. Do you remember how they used to do this shit? People would fucking camp outside, and it was like a huge event. And now, like people same fucking shit. Dude, and I've said this, there's so many things that they could do on a phone. I talk about this in the interview. I'm an advocate for gravity batteries. As much gravity batteries use microgravity that is all around us, but also takes place whenever you move your phone to charge the phone uh, simultaneously, so you never have to charge it. So when the phone is in like a woman's purse or in your pocket, it's charging because of the little bit of microgravity that is affecting it. And if you're like, well, is that really that? Does that have that much potential? Fuck yeah, it has a ton of potential. And so that's the future. There's another kind of battery that could be used known as Americium batteries. You may have Americium batteries in your house. It's the thing that has your that powers your smoke alarm. So you know how like you generally don't have to replace the battery in a smoke alarm like very often, or like in new ones, I guess. They last 7 years. The reason why they can last 7 years is because they don't use lithium; they use americium. Americium can last An americium battery can last 300 years, like incredibly long time. So what I'm advocating is for different options when it comes to some of these companies. I mean, if this is what Apple should be saying, the new iPhone never has to be charged again. The new iPhone can be submerged up to 100 meters underwater. The new iPhone, it can be dropped from 100 meters and it will fucking survive. It has Gorilla Glass on it. The new iPhone no longer is made of glass on the front and the back. The back is goes back to being metal, so it protects the thing. I mean, that's the thing. There's a reason why they put glass on the back because the back is seen of your phone as much as the front. And if you drop it and you crack the glass on the back, you look, you know, poor. So nobody wants that. So that's why they did it. And also, these things are fucking frictionless. Watch this. I'm gonna put this here. Watch. It will fucking slide down. It does not stay on anything. It's like literally meant. It's literally basically meant to be broken. I have other phones, iPhones that used to have a stainless steel back. They would stay up there. They would, if they fell, they might dent, but they would not break. They would not crack. Uh, anyway, there's just all kinds of shit. I could fucking bitch and moan about this shit all the time. You got better shit to do. Take care of me, bitch. Please, please watch my interview, and when you're done, if you can, you don't have to, but if you can upvote, I'd appreciate it. But most importantly, tell me what you thought because I honestly thought I did a good job pumping the coin, pumping world peace, letting people know who I am, and let me know if there's anything you would change. 100% purposefully. They made it like that so that it absolutely. I mean, it's extremely smooth to the point where it's like they almost want this thing to get broken. And I like there's something I don't know if you've heard of it. I'm sure you have though, called Gorilla Glass, where you can fucking take a nail and a hammer and go like that in the on your screen and nothing will happen. Why don't they build why don't they build phones like that? Oh, you mean to say that then we don't sell as many because you don't have planned obsolescence? I'm sure you're a very smart person. Do you know what planned obsolescence is? Well, yeah, I mean, it really came about particularly around the 1970s and the car industry in 1980s and consumer electronics and things, where companies realized exactly, exactly. Previously, literally, there were companies that would say buy it for life. You know, buy your car or buy your your refrigerator or buy your laundry machine and you could buy it for life. And some of the shit still works. If you look at like 1940s, 1950s, 1960s consumer electronics, some of that shit still works, which is incredible. When you buy something like 4 or 5 years ago and it can go out on you. And so the big plan, and it started in the automotive industry, was to get people to buy more and more cars more and more often because people weren't. Why would you buy a new car if you didn't need to if your old one was running? So they started having little things purposely fail, and then they started doing the same in consumer electronics, which is why, like, I can tell you this: I don't know anything about your device usage habits. I don't know anything about it, but I can guess that if you've ever had an electronic fail, maybe not the most recent one, but at least one time it failed, and perhaps a lot of times where you plug it in, where you the power adapter. Basically, that on any consumer electronic is the thing to go for. So and you know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, I bet so. I was just gonna say, do you ever see all that dust and lint and shit that gets in the little charging port? And I bet you get metal shavings and shit. There you go, 100%. And you know though as well, if that part goes, the phone's done. I mean, that that part I think is gone. I bought this phone not that long ago, and like because I do so much plugging in and unplugging, like I just kill that fucking power port. So what I have to use is the wireless charging. So I didn't really make anything, but it's actually a really good invention. It's this. It's a. You see this thing? It's like a It's something that my phone sits on, and it charges my phone, but it's on a really long extension cord thing, so I can walk anywhere. I can walk anywhere I need, or I can sit on my bed and still be fucking around, but it's charging my phone, and I don't have to have it in that fucking charging port. Here's another thing that fucking doesn't make any sense. Everybody on this earth, basically, when they put their phone down and it's standing up, it's like this. Here's the phone, and they put it down like this. How is it supposed to charge there if that's where the charging port is? The charging port of a phone should be at the very top. In fact, I don't know if you can see this. I have another phone here. I have like a lot of phones, no. This is the only phone that I have though. It does have a charging port in the top. And I think that's gonna become the usual now. Because and then doesn't that fucking make sense? So, like little things like that, from an engineering perspective, do you know how much of a fucking difference that makes in the bottom line of Apple and their repair costs? Like, like they'll never want to do that. But when I come out and say, look, why is it that a phone that the government gives you has better engineering than the top phone on the fucking market right now? What's the difference? Exactly. I agree. Like literally, this phone, I don't. It's a I don't know, someone you can buy on just fucking Amazon. It's also available for like the free calling plan. So I know a lot of people have this model of phone. I think I got it for like one of these you can get for like $10 or $30 or something. It's like a track phone. And when I saw it, it works like absolute dog shit because it has Android on it and all that shit. But the one thing that I saw that it did have was a fucking charger at the very top, and I'm like, oh, this is the future. Because then when you want to like put your phone down and charge it, you can have it sitting up and charge at the same time when you currently can't do that. Well, you can. Here's what you have to do. This is what I do. I build a little cup. You see, this is like a solo cup, and so this is a phone. It's being charged from the bottom. Do you see this? And I put it in a like holder so that it stands up and it charges at the same time. But well, it's like it's backwards engineering. I shouldn't have to do this. It should just be like, oh, I can put it in a holder and it would charge normally. But fuck no, because the charging port has to have like this much clearance from the surface. It just doesn't make any sense. Um, when it comes to the charging of your phone, have you ever had it so that port just doesn't work anymore? Isn't that a bitch? Or on a laptop or something? Here's another one. Here's another one that absolutely pisses me off about Apple. So this was um I bought an Apple MacBook like 16 years ago or something, and it had the best charging system I've ever seen to this day. And I learned about the charging system. So Apple used to have this charging system that was magnetic, so that if you ever needed to plug in your computer, it had a magnetic charging port, so that it was exactly. Why is it? And it's like the best charging system you've ever seen. Am I wrong? Good as fuck. Why? Because you can have that thing on your lap, you can drop it, it can be yanked out of the wall, and it's not going to affect that. It's absolutely best. Did you know that design was this is as I understood it. And this story may not be completely right. It's like a meme I saw, but it's also I did a little bit of research on it. It was invented by I believe a Japanese engineer, and he was working at Apple and basically said, um, perhaps I'm incorrect on that. He wasn't working at Apple, but he was perhaps working in congruence with Apple, working as a contractor or something. And he showed them this design, and they liked it so much that they introduced it on their product. But they they took his copyright or his patent on it and um, essentially said that he said that they could have the patent if they spread it on all of their products and they spread it to the greater like world because this guy knew if we can fix this little part of an electronic, it will save so much repair time. And especially because if you can't charge the thing doesn't fucking work. If it has a broken screen, you can still work it. It's not cool, but you can still work it. But if it's no power, you're done. And as I understand, Apple took that information and basically has just sat on it and hasn't done anything with it. And you have seen like third party manufacturers come out with little magnetic charging ports and things like that, but it doesn't come directly from the company, so it can, you know, cause issues with your charging and shit. What I'm trying to say is Apple has had better designs in the past. They don't utilize them today for this reason, for planned obsolescence. Because I really mean this. Tim Cook is so fucking proud to have his company be the first company ever to be worth more than $1 trillion. And I'm telling you this, when the world hears this conversation someday, perhaps it will maybe have been the first company to be worth more than $1 trillion, but it will also be the first company to drop below $1 trillion market cap because everyone's going to say, "What in the fuck? You mean to say they had a better charger than this, and all this shit could be better? This would be terrible for their stocks." I'm telling them that who their CEO should be. None of this would be good for the company. Now, obviously, it's just between us right now, but in the future, other people may find out about it, and at least they know we will be advocating for them. What up, Bitcoin Martin Luther King Jr.? How you living, Tim? Hope you're doing well. All right. Uh, Ask Munch, I could talk to you all day. I could bitch and moan to you all day. You're a smart person, and like great minds think alike, as they say. If I want to suck my own dick anymore, so I know that you pick up what I lay down usually, and that's a cool thing. You should know. I don't tell a lot of people that I think that they're smart, but I tell you because you are. Thanks, baby. Okay, I'm gonna be working on these discords. If you want to stay here, you can. I mean, you know, we got people coming in, but I just want to get them reset. Shout out to Ask Munch, everybody.
Adler was appointed in 2018 by the Minister of Culture to serve as a member of the Israel Council for Archaeology. He has written extensively on the subject of archaeological evidence relating to the observance of Torah law, covering topics such as ancient ritual immersion pools, mikvaot, dietary laws, ancient tefillin found in the Judean desert, and chalk vessels used by Jews who observed the purity laws. Adler has directed excavations at several sites throughout Israel, most recently at Einot Amitai and at Rena, two sites in the Galilee where Roman-era chalk vessel workshops have been unearthed. It's my honor right now to introduce to us for a wonderful dialogue today, Professor Yonatan Adler. Please join me in welcoming. Okay. This morning will be about my book, which just published this past Tuesday. After purchasing copies like, and synopsis. The book, of course, are getting into great detail, but I will try to give you a broad overview of what I do. So, the Jewish way of life has been characterized for centuries by observance of Torah law. And what I mean by that is the myriad laws of which characterize the way from the time that they wake up in the morning until they go to sleep at night, cradle to grave, all spheres of life are covered by law, by Torah law. Things like the various holidays, Shabbat, what you're allowed to eat, not allowed to eat, dietary law, what you're allowed to eat, what you're not allowed to eat. With whom a person can marry and have sexual intercourse. Rituals like tefillin and mezuzah. I mentioned the festivals, things like taking 4 species on Sukkot, eating matzah on Pesach, refraining from eating leaven, chametz, on Pesach, or even owning chametz. There's laws that relate to civil law, criminal law. Like I say, almost every sphere of life is covered by Torah law. The question that I ask in the book is, when did this begin? Torah. Now, to be clear, I'm not asking when the Torah was written down, when the Torah was put together. Separate question. That's a question which I would call intellectual history by people. Because I could imagine that the Torah was written down, but was sitting on a shelf somewhere, gathering dust. Or perhaps very few people knew about it for centuries. The question that interests me is not Torah per se, but the people, masses, regular, everyday people. When do they know about it? When did it come in the book? And I'll explain the method I use. Try to answer that. Other books have been written. I'm not going to get into detail of the scholarship, but other books have been written on the question of the early Judaism and Judaism's beginnings, book recently published by Daniel Boyarin makes the argument